The money pit collapsed in 1861, and a whole bunch of wood sort of went missing, so one plausible theory is that we are seeing that collapse. We are in the collapse zone, connected to the association of the elusive treasure with an ancient religious military group that may have made their way to the island in antiquity. This led to the excavation of certain parts of the island that could reveal the hidden treasure of Oak Island. Here's how Rick Lagina just discovered the biggest treasure ever on Oak Island. For years now, Rick and Marty Lagina, from the Curse of Oak Island TV show, have searched thoroughly for the treasure rumored to be hidden on the island for over 200 years. Although they've come across important clues, it seemed for a long time that they were just like the many men who ventured to the island, only to find out that this treasure hunt wasn't going to be a simple task. However, over time, some clues led the Lagina brothers and the Curse of Oak Island crew to believe that they might be the ones to succeed in this long-lost treasure quest. Are they on the extreme edge of the money pit? Only time will tell. But the tide started to turn during Season 10 of The Curse of Oak Island. The team made the amazing discovery of traces of gold in the waters surrounding Oak Island, which told them that someone definitely brought gold to the island. This also meant that more gold might be hidden there, boosting the morale of the entire team. However, they might have to break the curse of the 7 dead before they can think about finding the treasure. If you haven't heard of the curse before, here's a quick rundown. There is a belief that the treasure will remain hidden forever until 7 people have lost their lives searching for it. As bizarre as it sounds, people have silently hoped for the final death, since 6 people have already lost their lives over the centuries looking for the treasure. Despite this deadly curse, the hunt continued. The team discovered some interesting artifacts during their search, such as a stone covered with strange markings and symbols, coins, and tools dating back to antiquity. They even came across a lead cross, potentially linked to the Knights Templar, the medieval Christian military group responsible for protecting Christians making pilgrimages to Jerusalem. This group has fascinated scholars and laypeople alike for centuries, and the idea that they may have hidden their treasure on Oak Island only adds to the mystery. Some have even proposed that Oak Island might contain relics of the Christian faith, such as the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant, hidden in one of the undiscovered tunnels believed to have been built by the Knights Templar. The team was eager to confirm who the treasure belonged to, so they gathered their tools and focused on an area they believed held the key to everything. They decided to build another borehole in this area, possibly because they found traces of gold in the water during experiments. Further experiments led them to believe that they might strike gold if they dug into the original money pit area. After exploring the area, they found that there might be gold hidden about 80 to 120 feet deep in the money pit. The team also discovered an area known as the Baby Blob, which they were excited to investigate further. They knew the risks involved, especially if the network of tunnels they suspect exists under the money pit is real. They were prepared to proceed cautiously to avoid losing more lives in the process. As they continued their investigations, they mapped out the area and located the most likely spots to find either the treasure or a chamber containing the long-sought treasure. The team was eager to find the treasure after investing so much time and resources into the hunt. They were hopeful that something would finally give. Emma and Helen took the initiative to create a sifting station, hoping to uncover an artifact or two within the material. The team continued to dig in the Baby Blob area, determined to uncover the mysteries beneath the surface. Some believe this is the place where the elusive treasure lies hidden. Over time, the team's investigations revealed that the area had been known for some time. A pond once filled the pit, and it had been referred to as the Garden Shaft. Despite the challenges, the team remained determined to continue their search. They found an artifact dating back to the early to mid-1700s, with a hand-drawn map clearly depicting Oak Island. They also found French names on the map, one of which translated to Ba, which correlates with the swamp. The team's experiments with the water in the area led them to discover traces of gold, which caused them to believe that they might be close to the treasure they had been seeking for so long. They pressed on with their investigation in the Garden Shaft and made their way to about 80 feet underground. They remembered that the Ono company had been stumped when they reached 80 to 90 feet, and that's when they triggered a booby trap that caused the water to flood the shaft, halting their progress. Despite this setback, the team was hopeful that they could break through. The discovery of coconut fiber in 1851 added to the theory that Oak Island had been transformed into a siphon, preventing treasure hunters from uncovering the treasure. The team continued their experiments, leading to the conclusion that the treasure was connected to a network of tunnels under the island. As the team continued their investigations with geologists, scientists, and historians, they were eager to find out what lay within the 10-foot void they had discovered. Their determination grew as they made progress, hoping to finally uncover the secrets of Oak Island. The void cavity, your first thought, of course, is this possibly connected to an offset chamber or previously unknown void cavity tunnel, and might it lead somewhere? However, as the ground began to harden, the team became increasingly frustrated that they couldn't find these wooden tunnels, no matter how much they dug into the ground. It must be some sort of bad luck. Eager to come up with some answers, the team's geologist began to poke and prod. However, this didn't lead to the answers everyone was hoping for. In fact, it seemed that all they could do was continue drilling until they could find the answers that they were looking for. The question is, where is the money pit? That has always been the question regarding any of the work over the last 225 years. I mean, we've drilled exhaustively, and it's almost a foregone conclusion that we've been looking in the wrong places. Thankfully, this perseverance did lead to some answers for the team. As they carried on with their work, they soon discovered that they had come across some air bubbles within the ground. Interesting. This made them believe, now more than ever, that there must be a network of wooden tunnel systems down there. Hopefully, this would lead to the discovery of the network of wooden tunnels that they've been searching for some time now. I'm pleasantly surprised that there might be a way into the cave. It would be even more interesting if we saw some man-made feature in there, perhaps buried in there, silks on the floor. As you can expect, this improved the morale of the team as they went over their possibility of finding these tunnels. Maybe they could find that pot of gold at the end of their rainbow after all. With any luck, the discovery of this network of wooden tunnels will lead to the discovery of the hidden treasure of Oak Island or a torch chamber that may be hiding it, along with other ancient artifacts that could tell us more about the history of Oak Island. Following the encouraging discovery of air bubbles, the team decided to proceed with their investigation by collecting the water samples that were close to the air bubbles so that they could be sent to the labs for even more analysis. Find the original money pit, and at that point, we can unleash the hounds, if you will, expose the actual works of a 222-year-old treasure hunt. Hopefully, it could give them more insights as to how exactly they should move with their proposed plot of land and its connection to the garden shaft. Eager to learn even more, the team decided to consult with the Dumar Mining Company. Once the team agreed on this, they sent for representatives of the company, who were all too eager to get to work helping out with the investigation on the island. I can't say we found the flood tunnel itself, but what I see and hear is a lot of water rushing in, and it appears to be rushing in from the uphole side, in other words, from the landward side. Their vision was to repurpose the shaft so that it could support the continued exploration of the area underneath the surface of the island. That was the only way they could get to the bottom of this mystery as to if there was truly treasure hidden in the island. The plan was to reveal the shaft collar before clearing the foundation of the shaft and rebuilding the floorboards. At least then, it would be safe for the team to carry on with their investigations on Oak Island. Following this, they were going to realign the shaft so that it could maintain its geological structure. Getting metal detector hits, that's a game changer. If it could be verified, there should be no metal in a solution feature. That way, they could inject grout into the soil so that it could prevent the development of more water flooding in any shafts that may be built in the area going forward. As you can imagine, this comprehensive approach was all done in the hopes that they won't have to carry out such a procedure to ensure their safety and integrity of the land again. These new developments helped ensure that the morale of their team remained high. Today is the last day. There's no question about it. Do Miss have to pack up? We have really only half a day of reactive search agenda. After all, they were making some sort of progress with their work. That said, they were still all quite eager to get back to work, and they all wanted to know how long this rehabilitation process was going to take to complete. Who could blame them? They wanted to get to the gold as soon as possible, too. Fortunately for them, the Dumar Company kept on reassuring them that they would be able to continue with their exploration in the safest of conditions as soon as it was feasible. As such, this undoubtedly added to the fire of those helping to get a chance to carry out a thorough examination of these shafts. It says willingness to perch above that hole, you're 40 feet in the air, and there's a pipe at the bottom that would impale you if you fell. If you fall in, you're gone and dead. After all, the Dumar Company had not only assured them that the garden shaft would be in great condition when they were done, but that they may also come across some offset network of tunnels while they were down there. Thanks to the extensive revival work carried out by them, the team was compelled to believe in them because they had already seen evidence of their work so far. This allowed their Dumar Company to speculate that, if everything went according to plan, there's only so much you can see between the clay and the water, but it's real, and that's the important part. There's a wood structure down there, and at that point, it becomes okay. They may just be able to come out of these tunnels with that evasive treasure after all. The future certainly looked bright for the Lagina brothers and their Curse of Oak Island TV crew. Following this meeting of drawn-out plans and lofty expectations, their team set out to do what they could to explore the garden shaft while the Dumar Company continued with their work. That said, they still got another high when they realized that the Dumar Company planned on using concrete to stabilize their shafts. All they knew was that all these elaborate plans to make the shaft safe and secure for them could only lead them closer to the promised land of the hidden treasure of Oak Island. Spray it under pressure, and as it expands, it will seal off that intrusion of water, possibly completely. As such, you can't really be surprised that the Curse of Oak Island TV crew were singing a happy tune as they went on with their work on their mysterious island. They couldn't even be bummed out about the fact that this renovation work may take about 2 months to complete. After all, this was only a fraction of the time that had been spent on Oak Island searching for this treasure. Care needs to be taken to try to understand what's happening inside of the shaft, and in a number of ways, this water issue has to be dealt with. For the Lagina brothers and their team, this was the time needed to make sure that they would succeed where many others had failed, finding the island's treasure. They were ever more grateful that this renovation work will help them explore not only the garden shaft but also the spot believed to be the original money pit, the ground zero of all this treasure hunting frenzy that has been taking place on the island for more than 2 centuries. We do argue about, say, Freck, but do you have to go in there to do it? He is impulsive and he's fearless. The team knew that this work, however, was more than refurbishing the state of the island. They knew that this was a chance to learn more about the mystery of this strange island. With every little relic and artifact that was picked up during this work, they knew that this was a chance to add to the pages of the history of the island. As such, they understood that they were going to have to carry out a deeper investigation of some surface-level stuff that some of their predecessors may have engaged in. They knew that if they were going to get to the bottom of the mystery of Oak Island, they were going to have to dig deep into the ground. This was probably why the team left this meeting. The problem with doing this the simple way, which with a long-reach excavator, is that we do not have a stable hole. I mean, if we had dug a big pit with stable sides, they knew the time for all that talk was over. Now, it was time to act and act fast, as they had to be the ones who would finally get to the bottom of the mysteries of this captivating island. Eager to act, one found that all they could hear on the island following their strategic meetings was the noise of machines and equipment hard at work on the shafts and other surrounding geological structures. There was nothing that was going to stop them from getting to those networks of wooden tunnels and the treasures that they must be hiding. Now that the work had begun, the morale could be felt all through their camp because now the crew had a renewed sense of purpose. As a result, everybody could feel as they drew closer and closer to the answers of the many mysteries of the island. As each day went by, with 3 men hard at work, with any luck, not only will they unearth this elusive treasure, as they dove deeper into the soil, they will also be able to reveal more about the history of their island. What on earth is up with this tunnel from the Ball Foundation? It's pretty extensive, if it is, very intricate workings to hide a very significant treasure. That could be it. As they dig deeper and deeper into the soil, as time went on, the garden shaft proved that it may truly have the keys to the doors hiding the secret of this island. The more they carried out their investigations there, the more they began to learn about the island thanks to the discovery of even more artifacts. As they got deeper into the shaft, before long, maybe they may be able to unearth this 229-year-old missing treasure. With the work being carried out on the island by the Lagina brothers and their team, the Knights Templar rebanded warrior monks formed shortly after the Christians had retaken Jerusalem in 1091, and pilgrims were going from all over Europe to Jerusalem, the long, arduous journey. When they arrived in the Holy Land, many of them were actually kind of attacked in their desert going towards Jerusalem. They may finally be the ones who help us learn if this treasure truly belonged to the Knights Templar or any other notable figures in history. While we may not know now, we know that even if it takes another decade or two, the Lagina brothers and their team will give it their all to emerge from the earth with this treasure, from the association of the elusive treasure to an ancient religious military group, an incredible story of 200 to 100-year history, from knights to thousand, from the heights of power to the absolute depths of tragedy, that may have made their way to the island in the days of antiquity, to the excavation of certain parts of the island that could lead to the hidden treasure of the captivating island. Here's how Ricka just discovered the biggest treasure ever on Oak Island.